with Brian Stanley.
And so we welcome you back into our Pioneer postgame coverage where the Pioneers fall to Catawba today, 72-55, and joined by Pioneer coach J.T. Burton. Going to say a lot of unpleasant things here to start. Pioneers are held to their season low and points here today, but credit what Catawba was able to do. Again, and I think we've talked about it a couple of times this year already. It's a great team, and I just think it's a matchup nightmare for the Pioneers. Because you look at our sets, what we run, and everything seemed pretty good. We had some open looks, especially early. But the bottom line is the ball has to go in the cylinder. And I think if it does, this game's totally different. And I'm not going to say that. But, this is a totally different outcome, especially if a few of those go early.
Yes, it is. But, you got to be able to grind it out in the half court, as I told you. We got to be able to make shots. But that's a testament to those guys. They did a really good job of taking us out of what we wanted to do and contesting shots. We got to they make us take tough twos, and we got to be able to make those. You look down here, we shot 2 for 21 from the three-point line.
Yeah.
You ain't going to win too many games like that.
Right. Yeah, and that's the bottom line. I went 0 for 14 in that first half. And I think if a couple of them go, I think it's a momentum thing, I believe, because we had run some pretty good sets. But you've touched on it in the half court. Gone are the days of just outrunning somebody in the transition, and they did a good job handling our press. They didn't make the turnovers. They finished with 10 for the game, so we didn't get that turnover at midcourt and score the easy 2-point tonight.
They came in with a sense of urgency. It was a 3-game skid, and we was one of the last 5 out of 6, and you knew they had a sense of urgency the way they played because they didn't panic. They did a really good job of scouting us. Our guys, I got to do a better job of getting our guys prepared and mentally prepared because I think after you miss a couple shots, I think our guys' head starts to drop.
Yeah.
And I try to explain to them, it's just part of it, man. You got to miss it, but you can't compound that mistake on the other end. And I think that's what we done. We didn't do a very good job. Got out coached, got out played, the whole deal.
Individually, you look at it, and there's just some staggering numbers. Mitchell is 57% on the year from the floor. Donaldson is 50% from three-point territory this year. Dylan Smith has been averaging 12 points a game over the last 4 games. Jenkins has been getting to the rim with ease, and just everything was a tough go today.
Yeah, we couldn't get in a rhythm because I think the game was kind of slowed down because of the whistle, and that's just part of it, though. You gotta be able to adjust as a player and as a team. You know what I mean? But they did a really good job of defending us. They did a really good job of playing us and cutting our lanes off. And like I said, they could switch 1 through 5, and we struggle with that. And they did a really good job of taking Don out of the game as well again.
Yeah, and that's the second consecutive game. So those are some of the things that we got to fix. It just looked like every time we would move the ball in the half court, there was always somebody in front of us. And I think their attention to detail today in the defensive end was what I was more impressed with.
Oh, very good. They switch 1 through 5, and that's what makes them really good. It's hard. That's a really good coach team. But what we have to do is counter that. But when you counter that, you got to put the ball in the hole. You can't turn it over. You go back and look at one of the stats that's staggering. We had 22 offensive rebounds. They had 9 offensive rebounds, but the second chance scores, they had 13, and we had 16. You can't. Now kids play hard. Our kids play exceptionally hard. They do what I ask. We just got to make some shots.
That is the staggering stat of the game, no question about that, because usually those second chance points almost double of what you see with the offensive rebound. That should be up near 30, 35. It's not. Something I take out of this, they had to go to the free throw line and make a lot of shots, and they did. They went 20. That's a conference-breaking stat right there. 28 of 28. They shoot 100% from the stripe. That's more than half of our total output. And you hold them under 40% shooting, and in the second half they shoot under 35%. Your defense, again, for the second half, is able to adjust to what they're doing from the first half.
Yeah, we just can't score the ball. We got to do a better job of scoring the ball, and I have to do a better job of getting the guys in the situation to score the ball. And we'll continue to work. We'll continue to grind. It's just something that we got. It's a work in progress, and I hope everybody, the fans out there, and yourself, be patient with us. We'll get it rolling, but it's going to take a little time.
I was real patient today, Coach. I was real patient.
I was too. You could tell the gray hairs at the top, but hey, those guys, man, I got to give it to them. They kept playing hard. It's easy to just quit in a situation like that. And it's embarrassing, but it's humbling also. And I told him after the game, we just got to stay with it. We're going to go back and watch his film tonight.
Anderson comes in here next, and again, I don't want to put a lot of stress, but 2 home games in the month of February, and you want to get one and a team that's even with you, and that's Anderson at 5-6 right now in the league. I'm not going to say it's a must-win, if you want to stay in that kind of within shouting distance of that top 4 or the top 5 in the league right now, Anderson all of a sudden becomes a pivotal game on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah. All these games are big. I mean, especially coming down the stretch. And I told our guys now, I think some of them never really looked at the detail part of it, because when you go through that first part of it, it's kind of easy. We sneaking up on everybody. Obviously, we won the last 5 out of 7 games. But now you got Anderson.
Yeah.
We played them once. So they're going to make the adjustments. We have to make our adjustments. So with that being said, it's going to be a hard game, and it's going to be a much-needed game. So we have to continue to fight.
Make sure you get some sleep, though.
Happy birthday, Coach Ralph Horn.
Horn. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ralph Horn, the man.
We didn't celebrate very well for Ralph today.
Sorry about that, Ralph.
Maybe he can go find his own cake today. Pioneers fall today to Catawba. He's JT Burton. The Pioneers are back here Wednesday against Anderson. Back with our final thoughts after this as you listen to Pioneer Basketball on the Pioneer Sports Network.